Hi, PerspectaWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday, October 8th. Tropical storm Michael is on the verge of becoming a hurricane, and it very likely will undergo some rapid intensification over the next 24 to 48 hours or so before making landfall likely on Wednesday in the Florida Panhandle region. Michael could very well become a major hurricane before making landfall, Category 3 or above, as all ingredients are there for rapid intensification. First of all, it is currently in an area of some wind shear. That will dissipate over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. Upper level ridging will intensify over the Gulf of Mexico, and it'll move over warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, all leading to the possibility of a major hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico by the next 24 to 48 hours or so. Again, right now it looks like Florida Panhandle, landfall somewhere in the Wednesday time frame. Here's the very latest infrared imagery loop, actually over the past couple of days, and you can see over the last several frames it is really developing into a symmetrical looking, a much more organized looking storm. And again, it will work its way right through this water area between Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula into the open Gulf of Mexico, continue northward, and probably make landfall right in this region right here, the Florida Panhandle, during the day on Wednesday. Again, Michael could very well reach major hurricane status. That's Category 3 or above over the next 24 to 48 hours before making landfall. Once it makes landfall, it will turn to the northeast and ride up along the southeast U.S. coastline, perhaps exiting off the Carolinas and then out to sea. Whether or not it has a major impact in terms of rainfall in the mid-Atlantic region, still a little early to tell. It will interact with a cold frontal system, and if there is indeed significant rain in the mid-Atlantic region, it will likely be on Thursday. Some showers and thunderstorms possible as that front closes in from the north and west, and Michael moves off the Carolina coastline. Still a little wiggle room in terms of exactly how far north it may have a big impact later in the week. Where they don't need heavy rainfall in the Carolinas, they will get more heavy rainfall. Of course, they had to suffer through Hurricane Florence, and that same area, southeastern North Carolina, the eastern part of South Carolina, is in store for some significant rain. Again, here is Michael the last couple of hours and very close to reaching hurricane status, and it could reach major hurricane status over the next day or two. Well, here's a close-up view, a colorized infrared view from TropicalTidbits.com, and again, convection kind of surrounding an area that very well could develop into an eye shortly. Here's the northeast coast of the Yucatan Peninsula right here in the western part of Cuba, very likely squeezing right in between and then out over the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico where the sea surface temperatures are above normal. Excuse me, and the combination of diminishing wind shear and upper level ridging that will form overhead will allow for rapid intensification over the next couple of days. Well, here's the 500 millibar height anomaly chart for this morning, Monday morning. We talked about this all last week, how when you have very strong upper level ridging centered over the southeastern part of Canada, northeastern U.S., that just opens the door for tropical activity. First of all, to either move from the east to the west into the Gulf of Mexico or Caribbean Sea, or it could develop in this region. That is, in fact, what happened. This particular system, Michael, had its origins in the southwestern Caribbean Sea, kind of a homegrown type of system, and now it is going to squeeze through Yucatan Peninsula and Cuba, right up northward, right towards the Florida Panhandle, likely making landfall on Wednesday. And again, it very well could reach major Category 3 or above status over the next 24 to 48 hours or so. Well, let's take a look at the overall picture on the map here in the Atlantic Basin from the National Hurricane Center. First of all, we still have Tropical Storm Leslie staying out over the central part of the Atlantic. A couple other systems. We may have to deal with this particular system now, not too far off the west coast of Africa. We may have to deal with that over the next week or two. But here is Michael, again, on the verge of hurricane status, should move northward right towards the Panhandle region, likely making landfall on Wednesday. Again, it very well could reach major hurricane status before making landfall, and then likely a turn to the north and east and off the Carolina coastline. In fact, let's take a look at the projection by the National Hurricane Center. And here we go. This is the current position of Michael. Again, very soon will be a hurricane, and perhaps a major hurricane over the next day or two, and then likely landfall right in this region right here, the Florida Panhandle region right here during the day on Wednesday. Then it kind of changes from a northerly movement to a northeasterly movement, moves right over that rain-soaked area of the Carolinas, the eastern Carolinas, from Florence and ultimately off the Carolina coastline. Now, whether or not it causes some heavy rain in the I-95 corridor region between D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, still a little early to say. There will be a frontal system moving in from the north and west. If it does happen, it'll be likely on Thursday with showers and thunderstorms. Again, potentially significant rain in the I-95 corridor region. Certainly high potential of heavy rainfall where they don't need it in the Carolinas. And again, a major hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico is a strong possibility over the next day or two before making landfall, probably on Wednesday, in the Florida Panhandle region. That's it for now. For PerspectiveWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.